things like that.
Come on now.
Nightmare.
You can't do that.
And also the fact that, he gets in my light all the time. I mean, you can well imagine. It's like working with a sequoia.
Jesus, I'm gonna hear from the boss tomorrow.
Oh, would you loosen up?
Man, run out there. I don't know if he Chuck Mangione gonna be come down here.
Sir, you are going to have to speak more slowly. I cannot understand you.
Dang, make low mark. Had talked about your phone was disconnected.
No, David.
This Everclear is kicking my ass.
Nightmare.
And let's talk about the butter knives. What is with the butter knives? I mean, the guy who plays Freddy.
Freddy who?
Freddy Krueger.
Nancy, Freddy's dead.
Fuck me, man.
Jason, my special boy.
The dart, man. Got a fucking dart in your neck. You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I like you. But you're crazy. I feel tired. Who's coming this way?
Time's over, boy. You smell different.
Love you, babe. We'll do lunch.
Bit of a meme going around of John Voight's character in Anaconda, and it's just John Voight just doing the weird stare at J-Lo.
Yeah,
and on top of the video it says, "Hey, bro, look at that girl in the squat rack, but don't make it obvious," like something like that. It's just John Voight staring at J-Lo for 10 seconds.
That John Voight stare. I gotta watch that movie again. That one's a fun one,
dude.
It's a fucking masterpiece.
When was the last time you watched Anaconda?
Anaconda? It's been a long time. I feel like I rented it shortly after it came out on DVD, and then I haven't watched it again since.
Whenever you watch it, let us know, and we'll do another episode. Because that's I have this weird. I mean, I know this is technically in the episode now, but I have this weird running joke in my head that Anaconda's our fucking movie, and we just keep going over it and over it and over it.
That's good. I own it. Have you seen the sequel? I've heard the sequel's surprisingly solid.
Never seen the sequel.
Surprisingly solid? No way.
Yeah,
really?
Somebody I legitimately trust has talked about it, I think, in the past. And he's like, everyone wrote it off, obviously, because it was like a straight to DVD. Nobody returned bullshit cash grab or whatever. But he's like, it's surprisingly good with some fun snake action. And apparently there's...
All right, look, I'm a fan of fun snake action.
That was the hunt for the blood
orchid.
Yeah. I saw that. Don't remember anything about it, though.
You watched every minute
I
of
want to
it.
say, I want to say that David Hasselhoff is in the third one.
What?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Is that when it went straight to sci-fi?
I don't know.
Jesus.
Well, you know
Sounds like
what?
it would have.
Sounds like we have to do a series on Anaconda now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Googling how many there are.
There's a couple.
Yeah. There's 4.
4.
Nice.
So it is a quadrilogy.
That's probably too many, but that's perfect.
Yeah, so it's Anaconda, and that's 1997. Then 2004, you got Anacondas, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid. And then in 2008, Anaconda 3, Offspring. And then in 2009, Anacondas, Trail of Blood.
Shit, there's more than one.
Do you think the Offspring is actually in the third one?
Yeah. They're actually playing the same band they play in Idle Hands.
Yeah, Dexter Holland is one of the Anacondas.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right, David Hasselhoff is in it.
In the third one? Or
Yeah, the third one.
That's wild.
Wait, which came out when?
Amazing.
2008.
And the fourth one was less than a year later?
It was a year later. It could have
So
been
the
less.
fourth one's the really good one.
Yeah, that's the.
Well, here, let's see. So the third one came out July 26, 2008. The fourth one came out February 28th, 2009.
There it is.
Like 7 months later.
You wonder if they just had like enough deleted scenes from the third one that they were like, we could just stitch this together and make a fourth
Wait,
one.
are you telling me that Hasselhoff didn't come back for the fourth one? That's surprising.
He had enough of those snakes, dude.
Yeah.
There's
Took
a
them all
few
out.
returning actors, though, in that one. We got
So
a new
they got
episode.
people to come back from the third to the fourth, but they couldn't get
Yeah.
anyone to come back from the first to
Yeah.
the second.
Looks like
Okay.
the main actress in there, Crystal Allen, is in both of them.
Nice.
Wow.
The Crystal Allen. All right.
Wow.
She took over.
The Crystal Allen. Fair enough. She is.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like the most popular movies that she's in are Anaconda 3 Offspring and Anaconda's Trail of Blood.
I mean, I've heard they're really good.
Yeah.
I heard they're so good that the actors came back for the fourth one.
Yeah.
Heard it's
Telltale
so good
sign.
they got David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Third one got David Hasselhoff,
He's literally never done a bad movie.
Never.
Everything
can't
he's
think of
touched is
anything.
gold. Yeah, I can't think of anything. Only 2 things I know that he's been in are Baywatch, gold. No, 3 things. Knight Rider, gold.
Yeah.
And then his cameo in Eurotrip. Now that was actually just the music video, but that still counts. 4 things because his cameo in Dodgeball was fantastic.
This whole time, I've
He
been
also had
saying
the cameo
David
in,
Hasselhoff, but I've been
Guardians.
definitely thinking it was David Duchovny.
Oh.
He's totally different David.
It's a
dude.
very different
Very
situation
different
now.
David. Very
It's a
different.
very
David.
different David.
different David.
That's a completely different situation
Although
now.
I want to see the alternate universe where David Duchovny is on Baywatch.
Yeah.
Would watch that. Would
That's-
100%
I
watch
would
that.
watch that.
He's
He'd be a
like
good-
solving
Yeah.
beach-related murders.
Yeah.
I'm remembering his catalog right because he was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 for a brief second, and then he was also in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Has David Hasselhoff
He's a boat.
played
He
himself
plays a boat. He plays
more
a
than
boat.
he's actually
He
played?
plays a boat in SpongeBob SquarePants. He plays a boat at one point. All right.
Yeah.
Does he
Okay,
really?
we're good. We're good.
But I think he also plays himself when he like runs up to them
well,
on the
it's
beach.
himself as a boat. They turn him into a boat. So technically, David Hasselhoff
you're right.
is such an amazing actor. He once
He
played
could
a
also be
boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's versatility.
Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's versatility.
Man has
Versatility.
range on
Yeah.
land and water.
Yeah. He's like, I got
all-terrain.
this. I was on Baywatch.
Yeah.
He's an
Okay.
all-terrain actor.
But that's
Yeah.
has he played himself more than he's actually played a character in a
has-
film or a TV series?
At this
It's
point,
David-
he has
it's-
to have, yeah?
Dude, it's Hasselhoff. He
Yeah.
always plays himself.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot his name
Which
in Baywatch
is-
was David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he played
Which is-
Michael Knight, everybody on the show called him David Hasselhoff.
Yeah. Even the car called him Hasselhoff.
Yeah. The car is David Hasselhoff. That's what David Hasselhoff actually looks like. He played Night Rider. See, that's
Everyone
the acting.
confuses him with
He's
person.
a car, and he was able to turn himself into David Hasselhoff shape.
The fuck
Yeah,
are we-
exactly. So Nightmare.
This is a good segue into the new Nightmare scene where she keeps calling
This is how you know
him
this is a dream,
John,
and you're like,
and he's like,
"Whoa,
"No,
Freddy's
I'm
got us
Dad."
in this terrible
Yeah.
conversation."
I was enjoying it. I don't mind David Hasselhoff.
So many people are gonna be like, "Did we click on the wrong fucking episode? What is happening?" Like,
Should we
I'm like
start
6
the
minutes
actual
in, they're
episode
talking
now?
about the Anaconda movies and David Hasselhoff. What is this shit?
And recording. All right, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7:56 into it. Anyway,
Very nice.
so Derek, this is the
You
first
get
time
those, you get those minutes for free, people.
Yeah.
This is the first time you've seen both movies, correct?
No, I've seen New Nightmare before.
My
But I
condolences.
have not seen the remake before.
Well, that just kind of let me down. I was kind of excited because I thought this was a twofer.
No, I saw New Nightmare. I've only seen it once, and it wasn't that long ago. It was probably like 5 years ago or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start because like I don't know what happened. I hated it at the beginning. And
Which
then
one?
A New Nightmare. And then I kind of liked it towards the end.
Yeah.
But then the very ending scene, I was like, I don't like this anymore.
Where she let's start right at the fucking
The
end.
credits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a given for Justin.
Yeah.
You're like, he's just scrolling way too
credits.
fast. I hate this
Justin
shit.
hates credits.
Yeah, I don't do
but-
credits, dude. I don't
Do you
watch
mean the
credits.
scene
Get outta
where
here.
they literally have just gone through one of the most harrowing experiences of life, and like they're still singed, they're covered in shit, they just fell out of a bed out of a nightmare, and she immediately starts reading him a story?
That's a script of the movie.
She immediately starts reading him a script of the most horrible shit they just went through.
Yeah.
At, 1 star.
Now,
You didn't give it 1 star.
I didn't give it anything yet. But
Oh,
specifically,
yeah.
that scene is 1 star. That shit was dumb.
I got you.
yeah, the ending I thought was kind of wonky.
Yeah.
However, I really did like the concept at least. I thought it was different, especially for the 90s. Everybody was trying to do something different. And I'll give them credit for going like, okay, like what would happen if the spirit of Freddy was real and like all this stuff. I really like seeing all the actors from the first one or a couple of the actors from the first one come back.
Yeah.
I love the transitions between her actual reality morphing into the reality of the movie. Like her, like John, I don't know the last name, her dad in the first one.
John Saxon.
Yeah, Saxon. Going from John and then morphing in the exact same scene, almost with the same breath, to her dad from the movie.
Yeah.
Like little things like that were really creative and cool.
I really liked the little stuff that they did, but I kept being like, why did that happen though? Like, what's obviously, like, I've made it pretty clear, like, I like rules in these movies and stuff, but like, it just, it felt like they had the concept and it just kind of we'll just pile some shit around it. Cause like, why did what caused the movie? First off, Freddy is trying to come into real life, right? That's the point of the movie.
Yes.
Like real life this time, not fake, not Hollywood real life, but actual like our reality.
Yes.
Right.
So why does her reality turn into the dream?
Yeah.
Because doesn't that mean he's just still in his dream? He's not coming out of reality.
It's the bridge.
Yeah, so the dream world is the bridge between.
It's like they open the door and she kind of like the door he's trying to get through and she falls through the other side of it.
Mm-hmm.
James is not satisfied with that explanation.
I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied.
We just watched 6 movies that completely change the fucking rules every time. They're like, no, he can cut himself out of your body, and now the blades are his fingers. Oh, you get powers because it's your dream. No, you get powers if your friend dies in the dream and gives you those powers. And now we're on number 7 and you're like, how come reality is kind of dreamy?
My problem with it is that because they take it and they base it mainly in reality, and then they try to force the like dream stuff onto it at the end, and it's like, right, but you spent this whole movie setting up that it's a fight with Freddy in reality.
But still a dream monster. Right. There's still a
but they're trying to make the point of like, oh, he's going to be real.
But I guess that, but I guess their
it
point
ruins the movie because real Freddy's a bitch.
Well, I think it's the point is to try and go the actions and everything that happens in the movie is going to be the exact same. It will just happen in real life.
Yeah, which is why it's boring.
I think
it was boring.
I think the first half of the movie is hella boring, and then the good part is when it goes to the dream. When it goes to the Freddy hell nightmare stuff, when that stuff really kicks up, that's when I start to like the movie. It's just I'm trying to watch.
I
the
do
movie
like
and, like,
I
so
do like
boring,
the look
and
of
Heather's
Freddy.
really unlikable.
I don't think she was that unlikable because, like, I mean, she's for one, she has the creepiest, most annoying kid in the world.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's my problem with this movie. It's not a Freddy movie. It's a creepy kid movie.
Yeah.
And Nico Hughes, don't like creepy kid movies.
Yeah. Noted.
Derek, I was going to ask you, like, you're the only one here with a little kid. How would you handle,
I have some, but
how would you handle that situation if your kid started like doing any of that? I don't know how to handle it.
You'd spaz the fuck out. I don't know.
Like I don't know. Like, dude, I don't know what I would do if my kid came up to me with knives taped to his fingers.
Yeah, that'd be problematic. You know?
I could just like I was laughing.
Not gonna lie, be concerned.
Yeah. Because all I see in my head is you just going, "What are you doing, bud?" Yeah, to your kid while he's like going, and he's like, "That's weird, bud."
Yeah, that's an accurate. I say that to almost like any spectrum of things that he might do or say, and it could be really bad or really good.
You trying to make a sandwich, bud? What's going on?
Well, it's good because you go in with an even hand. You don't know what's going to happen. You know, it could be good, it could be bad. You just go in neutral. What's going on, bud? And then you decide which side of the bud coin it's going to be.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
definitely light him on fire. Just not in my house.
Him at the top of the playground, like climbing up on the that definitely gave me a bit of some like dad anxiety because I do freak out with my kid at a park. Like, come on, dude, like don't fucking jump off something super high and kill yourself.
Yeah,
right. Although, I mean, it was pretty, like, I guess one of the things that I liked about it was the emotional ride that they went on, because, like, then he was like, God wouldn't take me. And I was like, ooh, that's heavy.
Yeah.
That's like really heavy. That's like way too heavy for a Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about that.
Do you want to move on to the remake and talk about fucking
easy. You know what's funny?
Slow the roll a little bit.
Calm the fuck down here, Derek. What's that picture that I took a minute ago? I posted it and I said about to get straight up yelled at by these guys over my opinion of the night of the Elm Street remake.
Wait, where did you post this?
I think you'll be delightfully surprised.
Yeah. So I guess. Well, before we get on to that, one of the other things I thought that they did really good with New Nightmare, and I was surprised because I think I saw like parts of that when it came out as a kid on HBO or Cinemax or something like that while I was a kid. I don't remember watching the full thing until I was already an adult. But a couple of the scenes in that, like the hospital scene, and then the scene where Freddy is dragging the kid through the coffin.
Yeah.
That fucked me up.
That's
a
solid.
Good shot.
All the Freddy stuff in it, pretty good.
He did really good.
really like the redesign. It's a little meh. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me.
It looks like a mask.
Yeah, the
It
mask
looks like he's
and
out of Star
the
Trek.
bone hand and shit. It's not. It doesn't say Freddy to me. But like the nightmare stuff and the dream stuff of like the shifting between the worlds and stuff, and you don't really know which is which. That stuff was really good.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Yeah. I thought the makeup was. I wasn't a big fan of the makeup. I do like the movie. I like the movie a lot. The makeup I wasn't a huge fan of. I just thought it was too. I don't know, crisp. It was too clean.
Yeah. I was gonna say it felt too refined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a mask instead of makeup.
Yeah, which I think it was in their intention was to make it look like Freddy Krueger completely separate than the Freddy Krueger we've seen up until now, because it was supposed to be like the spirit of him and what he would manifest as. Like I know a lot of people really love his glove in this one, and I don't like having a thumbnail.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, how do you feel about stripes or no stripes on the sleeves? Because the first one, he has no stripes. All the other ones, he has stripes.
I'm going to be totally honest. I didn't get that.
I kind of like no stripes.
Dude. I need to know your opinion on this. It's important.
I like the no stripes on the sleeves. I think that's
totally, dude. Totally.
Yeah, no I think it's a little more unique, I guess, or obscure. But I totally understand why they added stripes to the sleeves in the second one.
Exactly. I think
because the stripes on the sweater and the glove together are such an iconic pairing that it's like you can, if we stripe the sleeves, then you can just show him from the elbow down and everyone knows what it is.
Yeah,
that's
very
totally
true.
agreed.
I think that the no stripes makes it look more like a real person.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
It kind of.
I have no idea why, but I agree.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Because it's just, I don't know. You don't find a lot of. I guess you do now. It's so hard to say. Like I feel like in the 70s or 80s, like you didn't find as many like all striped shirts. Maybe. I don't know. It just feels more like a normal shirt. Shut the fuck up.
Did not see that being the direction you were going to go there, but I'll.
But I like it.
I appreciate the conversation. No, it's good.
Appreciate the conversation.
It's needed to be said. Yeah. Maybe in the 80s they didn't stripe the sleeves.
It needed to be said.
It just looks less thought out. Like the stripes looks more thought out or more well designed. A character that. They actually sketched him out before, and here we go. Here's how he's supposed to look. No stripes just kind of looks put together very quickly. Like we just,
What do you guys feel about trench coat though?
Ooh, the trench coat.
Yeah.
Ooh, it is a cool
very
look.
Dracula vibe in this movie.
Yeah.
There was a lot of vampire-esque behavior from him. I felt like.
That's a good point.
Like even in the end, as he's running around, that seemed like they were running around a gothic castle as opposed to some fiery factory that he's normally running around. And even the unhinging of the jaw and eating Dylan, which was pretty sick.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
That fucked me up. That scene actually was like
what part?
When he's unhinging.
He's not even watching every minute of the podcast.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes. So no, man, you guys got me searching what the fuck is up with stripes and stuff. And
when were stripes introduced?
Yeah.
And, when were stripes invented?
And I'm not sure what you guys are talking about because that's a picture of him in New Nightmare.
Yeah,
he's got stripes,
and
then this is a picture. Oh no, that's from Freddy vs. Jason. So he doesn't have stripes in the first one.
In the first one, he has the stripes on the sleeves.
He has them on the body, but not on the sleeves.
Yeah.
When did he get stripes? Because there's
second
a picture
one.
of him.
The second one.
In the second one.
Yeah.
I mean, dude's got a brand.
I like that we waited the whole franchise to finally have this conversation because
we have this conversation in the first episode,
right? But now we're revisiting it because this is a very important conversation.
I think it did come up briefly.
Justin was there for every minute of it. Doesn't fucking remember the conversation. No, we had touched on it for a bit, but I do like what Derek has said about it being like more planned. It does seem like the not striped sleeves was not something that they thought in advance. Like they just found this sweater and they were like, this is perfect for him. And they put it on him. And then when they decided to make the sequel, they were like, we need to make our own version of the sweater now. We should stripe the sleeves while we're at it. Like
actually, I took a note, and I don't know where I got this from. Judy Graham is a lady that knitted Freddy's original sweater.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah, she did. She also
didn't fucking want to do stripes. That shit was
she
too
did
much
in the
work.
remake she did in the remake as well. She did this knitted the sweater.
Yeah.
But
First time around, they just didn't give her enough green.
Yeah.
She's like, I need more green yarn. They're like, this is all we got. Sorry.
Right.
Budget shot. Do what you can with the excess red.
I love the in canon idea of like Freddy, like after the first one, he's like, you know what? I really gotta up my game.
Yeah.
What would be scarier?
Yeah.
Stripes. Put stripes on my arms.
Yeah.
That seems pretty stupid, Freddy. I don't know, man.
Makes
then I could do
sense.
the stretchy arm thing a lot more.
Yeah, I
that's
don't
a
know.
good point.
Now that you
All
guys
right,
got me
stripes it is.
Yeah, now that you guys got me scrolling down Google Images, he looks kind of goofy with stripes. I've been watching fucking 9 movies of this guy and just now realized how goofy he looks with stripes on his arms.
Right?
It's like when you look at a word for too long, it just doesn't feel like a real word anymore.
Yes. Yes.
It just looks he looks creepier without the stripes for some reason.
Yeah,
He
I
looks
agree.
dirtier.
Yeah.
It looks less fashionable, is I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he looks
the
very
stripes
past
just
season
make him-
with the
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like it. I'm not
to
for it.
get 10 minutes on stripes.
Goal met. So okay, Derek, I'm gonna assume based off of your fucking attitude that you did not like the remake.
Jesus, Justin coming out in full defense mode already.
I feel like you in our episode of Dogtooth not liking incest. And this is me in this episode not liking child molestation.
You know what?
Wait.
You know what?
No, totally understand.
That's
totally
fair.
understand.
Was Justin the only one in the episode who didn't like incest? Is that why you're remembering
me
that?
and James, me and James were on
for the record.
board.
Do not like incest.
Yeah. Derek,
by not liking, by not liking, I mean not liking that it was part of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So I totally understand because when I watched it,
hold on.
hold on.
I see what you're trying to do there.
So when I watched it last night, because obviously the remake came out in 2010. When I watched it last night, I was like, I mean, I know it's only been 14 years, which I mean, I guess it's
only.
It doesn't feel that long at all.
Right.
I still remember seeing it opening night, and that feels like yesterday.
Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing it and being like, "This is a movie."
Yeah, I liked it. I still like it, but I don't think that they would be able to make that some of the same some of the same directions and some of the same scenes now. Like
it's a weird
choice. I don't think it's a weird choice because that was the original point of him.
But they did a good job of removing that.
Of course.
Yeah.
I like this is fuck it. I'm not going to be the pro that guy. I was going to be like, Derek's the pro incest guy, but I'm not going to go that far.
Take the stance.
But,
Take your stance.
But you know what?
Stand up for what you believe in, the soundbite. This close.
Yeah.
Josh was like,
He's
not going to say it. He's not going to say it.
Yeah, 26 minutes in. No. But yeah, the way that they film certain scenes where, especially the flashback scene where he's talking to the kids, it's way, first off, Jackie Earle Haley is an incredible fucking actor.
Fuck yeah.
He is.
Like, regardless of how anybody.
I think one of the problems with this movie is the makeup hindering him being able to act as well.
I would agree to a certain degree, but like
to a certain degree, not all the way,
but like his ability to just be a creep is like fucking unreal, and the way he spoke to the young Nancy character, where you can see him luring and putting those breadcrumbs down to get her to trust him. And, you know, I have some pictures but I got some really bad pictures. Do you mind if you could show me how to make them better? It is too fucking real. Because
can I
that's
pause right here for just a second. Was he having her paint with blood on the walls?
No, I don't think it was blood.
Just paint.
Okay.
I think it was just red paint.
Maybe I just wanted to be even more fucked up. Like, he's like, yeah, anyways.
Yeah, anyway.
But that's like them making the choice, and I'm sorry, Justin, I completely
no, you're good.
Cut you off there. It's just the choice of, I like the choice of, hey, we're going to go dark in this one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Let's go dark. And it's like, okay, let's do that. How are we going to do it? Let's just have them molest kids. And it's like, all right, now I don't like the choice. Like, you could have went dark. The first one was dark. But you know, this is now a little more modern. It's 2010. We have more to play with here. And you just went down a road that was just, I don't know.
I think honestly, the only reason for it is because it was 2010 and everything was trying so fucking hard to be edgy. And especially because horror had only we weren't that far in yet, obviously. But like Texas Chainsaw and then Friday and then this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that they were like, first off, they run into the thing of like, how do we make Freddy different without changing Freddy? It's the only element that we can actually lean on. And it's 2010, so we can kind of use that as like...
Oh, yeah, it was more acceptable back then.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to go, and I'm sure most people did, because it's what they were kind of leading you to believe, is he was innocent.
Yeah.
And as I was like, oh, shit, like, that's crazy if they make him innocent. And then that's why he's going out on this vengeance of just killing the kids that framed him. And they're like, no, he actually was molesting kids. Like, fuck, like you could have done something.
And one of my notes is like, it's such a hat on a hat too. It's like, why even have the innocent thing in there then? Like, he's already a child rapist and murderer. Like, oh no, he gaslit them too. That's not, that doesn't up the stakes at all.
Yeah.
I think it was just meant to be like another twist. They're just like, let's throw that in there and kind of misdirect. But I feel like if they had made it to where he was innocent, that would have gotten more blowback where they're like, oh, this is a movie about how kids lie about being molested. We don't want to make anyone who sees this think that happens. Although the message we did get was, if somebody touches you inappropriately, don't fucking tell anyone or he will come back and murder you in your dreams. Like,
So, but I don't think there was any other thought into writing this story the way it was, outside of them going, okay, let's take the source material and mine the fuck out of that. And basically copy a lot of it. And then, well, how do we change as much as we can while doing the exact same thing? And then going, oh, well, it's widely known that Wes Craven's original idea was that Freddy was a child molester. So, well, fuck it. Let's just do that.
Well, and that's the thing is that's, and it sucks because it's like, you could have put that in and then not leaned on it that hard.
They did lean on it pretty hard.
They leaned on it real fucking hard.
The photos and shit. And he's like, oh yeah, these are all pictures of you. And it's like, why are you?
And even the photos thing is like fine because that part I think is useful because they don't show it, but you could just imagine whatever the fuck it is. So you could do that and not even mention that he raped anybody.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
It's still just
kind of made it more ambiguous. Yeah.
I mean, the reason why, what number is this remake of the whole franchise? 8? Number 8 of the whole franchise?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they had 7 movies prior. And clearly a studio's like, hey, we have 7 movies that we're piggybacking on. There's a whole franchise here. We have a built-in fan base. We're gonna get a bunch of viewership. So let's just make money. Let's put this out. We're gonna make money on it. Well, let's make him a child rapist. It's just a weird choice of, like, you could do whatever the fuck you want. You're gonna have people come in, they love this character, and you just made him so fucking hateable. Like, so hateable. You know what I mean? Like, you're wearing a Freddy shirt right now. I would never wear a remake Freddy shirt.
No, exactly.
No, you know what I mean?
But
I will wear any of the other ones.
That's why with Wes Craven having that be the initial intention works, because Wes Craven did not want to make a sequel. He was like, this is a one and done.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You don't get a franchise where Like, people aren't wearing Freddy shirts. They're not getting Freddy tattoos. They're not like celebrating this character if he's a child molester. So yeah, as soon as this movie came out, everyone's like, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to see more of this guy.
At the same time, I mean, he's just a child murderer in the
and that's fine.
Or in the first one, and
it's
that's
not
pretty
really
bad.
It's not really good. Like, it's still pretty bad.
That's pretty fucking bad.
Maybe I just know too much about serial killers that most serial killers don't just kill them.
Yeah. But they don't show that in the other ones. They show Freddy going after teenagers, which is every slasher.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
This one, they're showing him with fucking like kindergarten.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, man.
Preschool.
It's like you just made a really weird choice there.
Yeah. I think
and
that
it's not an enjoyable watch. Where all the other ones to me, are.
I mean, I've said it before on this podcast. Like, I always like to see the movies of that push it to a very uncomfortable extreme without going to like August Underground level. I don't want to fucking watch that. But like, how
even that has its merits, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. But how are you going to tackle like very heavy content, and how was it going to be made? I think they did this one, even though it's fucking despicable. I still think that the way they did it and how the context that it adds to him as a villain, I think is really, really good because of how well I think Jackie Earle Haley played it. The comments, even whenever he has Nancy on the bed, like the things that he says, it adds a level of like, oh God, like this makes me feel sick on a level that like you just don't see. That doesn't mean that it's the right choice, but I could.
That's my problem. My biggest problem with it is most of his dialogue is so like. The problem is 7 fucking movies in with Robert Englund, and now in quick succession, and now this, and it's like a totally different. Like, I get that they went for the more like, how do you remake Freddy? You do the exact opposite of everything else, and you make him fucking scary as fuck. How do you make him scary as fuck? Well, how do you amp it? The character's already a rapist. I guess we'll just do that. Yeah. So, like, I understand all that. But his dialogue and his one-liners could still be good.
Yeah.
Like, there's no flavor to them at all.
I did like the whenever the ex-boyfriend is in the cell,
the 6 minutes.
He's like, he's hanging upside down, and Freddy's like, the brain, still has 7 minutes left. We still have, that means we have 6 more minutes to play. That I think was a really good.
That was fucked up.
That was like, oh God. And they like something like that, like kind of going back with the picture thing. Like, you don't see the rest of the 6 minutes. But they did a good job of like giving you that just enough to be like, oh Jesus, like now I could just think and imagine what the fuck this kid is going through for the next 6 minutes. And that is just fucking horrible. But I think given the people who did this, the Platinum Dunes company. So like James just said, like they did the Texas Chainsaw remake, they did Friday the 13th remake, and then this one. And then in between all that, they did Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. Mm-hmm. That came out in like 2006. I feel like the Nightmare on Elm Street remake is closer to theme and vibe of Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. Because when you watch even the original TCM and when you watch the remake of TCM, they're obviously fucked up, but I don't know. It's still enjoyable. It's like there's still different ways that you could watch that movie and have fun with it. Like, we have watched TCM in theaters, and like that was a horrifying experience because it's like when you really stop and watch that movie, it is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and
just such a fucked up, hopeless situation to watch. But at the same time, it's a crazy dude with a chainsaw, and he's like Leatherface, and he's kind of become like this giant, lovable, crazy character, and you can watch him with a group of people and it's funny. But when you watch TCM the beginning, it's like, it's dark. And I know, Derek, you haven't seen it, but like, it's fucked up. Like, the whole vibe of that movie and everything that happens is just really, really disturbing.
Jessica Biel?
No, it's
it's
the
the
prequel
to that one.
Got it. Okay,
And
I saw that one.
So,
Yeah.
like when you watch that movie, it's not enjoyable for that reason.
Yeah.
Like it puts you in a headspace that is just very uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
I think that I understand what they were trying to do of trying to push that limit or trying to go into that territory. But I think too many people are just used to funny wisecracking Freddy for them to get on board with something quite like that.
You have an established character. Obviously, a lot of things change throughout each movie, but this just was so drastically off the mark. It was so drastically different from what that character was established as. And
that's why I like it.
I think it's also
I think
tough.
on its own, you just come out with a movie like that and it's its own movie, standalone movie. It's different. I think it's because of the established character, but I get it. Look, it's a creative choice.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do something different.
Well, and it's also like, think of it like essentially when did fucking New Nightmare come out? And I wouldn't even say that people consider that fucking really like an entry in the franchise. Like they weren't thinking about that one whenever they were thinking about Freddy. By the time the new one, the remake came out, like everybody's concept of Freddy was wisecracking game show host kind of.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
So, but by the time the remake came out, we hadn't had any Nightmare on Elm Street in fucking a decade.
16 years.
Almost
16 years.
Yeah. So it worked. It played better then because first off, everyone was like, fuck it, like horror fucked up again. Let's do it. And also we haven't had Nightmare. So it plays better than when you've just watched all the other fucking establishing movies.
Yeah.
And coming into it now, I'm like, here's the thing. I like the remake more than I like New Nightmare. So watching it after New Nightmare, I was like, I now appreciate the remake more than I did. But there's less in it that I thought they fucked with than they did
from the original.
There's less studio interference, less obvious studio interference than I remembered there being. Clearly, that stretchy wall thing is a fucking like you got to get this in home by 5 CGI.
Yeah,
that shit was rough.
I remember when that came out, they were one of the writers or director or something was doing an interview where they said that was a last minute addition because the studio literally forced them to put that in.
Yeah, and you could tell, and also
just put a sheet.
That's exactly what they did in the first one. Yeah, that's why it worked so fucking well because it looked real.
It's creepy.
Yeah,
like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. And
or just don't fucking do it.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. Yeah. But what's like you guys were saying, it was 14 years or something since the last New Nightmare. Because I mean there was Freddy versus Jason, but that's just different. But that's even when you really think about it, at that point it was 26 years from when the original came out, and the original Freddy is vastly different from 2 and on.
Oh yeah,
completely different. They're completely different. It's like it might as well be in a completely different universe. So it's like it's been almost 30 years, and you finally get a version of Freddy that is fucked up and dark. And the whole point isn't to entertain; it's to just scare you.
Yeah.
So
and that, like from that first fucking scene where he fucking shoves that knife in his throat, and then I was like, "This is incredible."
Yeah,
it's such a good opening.
Also,
I was reading that actor actually did not sleep for a few days before shooting so that he would look sleep deprived.
Oh,
that's
pretty cool. They actually stabbed himself in the throat. R.I.P.
So I definitely thought you were going to like that guy actually killed himself.
He's
he's dead.
That actor. Fuck, I wish I knew his name off the top of my head. You
know what actor's name I do fucking know? Clancy fucking Brown. Clancy Brown is in this fucking movie, so automatically this movie's a masterpiece.
Kellen Lutz,
got an A+.
Dean,
never been in a bad movie.
Dean, who kills himself at the beginning, is Emmett Cullen in the Twilight franchise, which is why I was surprised that he's only in the Nightmare remake for like 2 minutes. He has a great opening kill, but I'm like, I feel like that guy's more famous than pre-credits.
Yeah.
like pre-title card death, but okay.
Was this
right?
When did Twilight come out? Before this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no.
It was a little after, right?
No, it was right before. Twilight Saga New Moon was 2009. So
really?
it was right in the middle of the Twilight. So maybe that's why he only has like 2 minutes on screen. He's just like, I got to get back to being a vampire.
Maybe this got made beforehand, and then he went to go do Twilight.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
And it just took that long to do the CGI for that fantastic wall scene.
Yeah. I do agree with Clancy Brown. Anything Clancy Brown is can't be that bad.
Yeah.
No.
It can't be. It physically can't be.
No. But yeah, that's one of my favorite opening kills to any horror movie. It's so
I completely forgot about it. And watching it, I was like, oh yes! That's fucking wild. It's so brutal.
Yeah.
The sound effects of his throat getting ripped open.
Fun stuff.
That was gnarly.
Yeah.
But it is like I think that's my issue with it is there's several moments like that where you're like, okay, that was fucking cool. Like that was well done. But everything interconnecting it was just like the dialogue was not great. Some of the acting was not great. And I feel like Robert Englund talked about how on board he was with a remake like 20 years ago. He was like, absolutely remake A Nightmare on Elm Street. That's such a fun story. There's so many different ways you could go there with the technology we have. Like you could really just go all out. He's like, but make it your own. Like make Freddy look a little different. Change up the storyline, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't do that enough. I feel like they just...
Right.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, we're going to make Freddy look exactly the same, but with worse makeup. We're going to redo a lot of the iconic moments. The wall one is the most egregious.
Even his makeup, some of it's CGI.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the scabbing is CGI.
Yeah.
And so they didn't... Yeah, they went too far into just like a shot-for-shot remake, recreating one of the most iconic horror movies of all time, just not as well every time. I did like the hallway of blood at the end instead of the stairs turning into like glue.
Yes.
Like when that hallway, when she starts
cool.
running and it's like little splashy puddles and then sink. That shot was so sick.
Going like I remember us coming out of it and having the conversation of like, I know exactly what they were going for and what the studio fucking changed. Like what they forced them to do.
Yeah.
And like you can see it because like the Hall of Blood, that's not a fucking studio idea. That's a real idea that they were like, we got to do this. This will be sick.
There was one gag that I remember reading about where Freddy was supposed to, he had a contraption, or well, in real life, he had like a contraption on where it was his face, and then it was like he reached behind his head and unzippered his head and like was all like fucked up underneath it and shit. So, but they cut that out of the movie. So it sounds like whenever I was reading, I think it was Bloody Disgusting. They had sent somebody to the set for like a week or so to do a write-up, and they were talking about all these different gags that Freddy was going to be doing, and none of it ended up making it into the movie.
Right.
Well, and it makes me wonder, like, how much of that was going to be different.
Yeah.
And
I know the writer Eric Heiserer. He said that there was very little in the film that he recognized as something he wrote.
Damn, Jesus. Yeah, I think he was the one who said the only thing that was kept from his version was the micronaps idea.
Really?
Which that's a really good,
which is dope.
Which that's
because that's a real thing that happens to people.
Yeah.
So that's
and they actually did like a pretty good job of it because like it's funny because that is almost like covering for so many of the fucking plot points in previous movie in the previous
it
ones
allows
where it's
him
like
to just be anywhere at any time.
And like it's like, well, why is it kind of like weird in this movie? Oh, all you had to do is just say micronaps. We're good.
Yeah. 17 movies into this franchise, and someone finally decided to go, maybe we should research what actually happens when you don't sleep enough.
Yeah, weird.
It turns out you fall asleep pretty much anywhere, huh? That makes him way more dangerous.
Really wants to sleep, huh?
Why didn't we think of this before?
Yeah.
You know what's weird is this guy really wants to fucking sleep.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just gonna go to sleep anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, look, he did.
I still think it's a good movie. I still like it.
I don't. Yeah. I don't think it's a.
I think it's better than New Nightmare.
I wouldn't go that far either, but I don't.
Wow.
I don't.
I like New Nightmare better.
Hate it as much as I used to. I don't know if it's growing on me. I don't know if you guys convinced me. Maybe I'm just like I don't want to be an asshole on this podcast. I literally finished the remake right before I logged in. I watched it today. And there's still a lot about it I do not like. There's still so many things I would have done differently. But there were moments where I was like, okay, this part is fucking cool. I love Kyle Gallner.
Cool
I love Clancy Brown. I just think there's just certain character choices and dialogue that is so cringe. And I'm like, I don't know why that could have been written so much better or just like one more take.
What was it dialogue from Freddy?
No, I didn't mind Freddy's dialogue. I mean, he could have. I didn't think his one-liners were that bad. Obviously the like, how's this for a wet dream? I was like, Jesus, man, like that's not.
Yeah,
I didn't they take that from?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
one of the other ones.
One of the other ones.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's what I thought because I remember at least again we just watched all these. And I remember hearing it in one of the movies, and I was like, "Hey, that's where they got it from."
I didn't mind his dialogue
I think
as
it
much.
was in the 5th or 6th.
It's one of those.
Like, what was it? Yeah, when he's like, "Oh God," and he goes, "No, just me." I'm like, that's so simple, but it delivered well. Like Jackie Earle Haley did the absolute best he could with what he was given, and
I thought he was going to say
because he was so
what
good.
he said in the first one. Because in
This
the
is
first one,
God,
doesn't she say, I was waiting for that.
Yeah. It was dialogue from I think the entire opening like conversation at the diner. Some of that was just like there's certain expositional dialogue where they're like, "How is this happening?" It's like I don't know, just have the character fucking say it, and it's like that's not how people would actually talk in real life.
Communicate.
But you can look past that for some of the cool stuff.
Fucking gripe for so many of these movies is like, look, man, and then you just fucking explain what the fuck happened to your friend who I would have like Justin, if I came to you and was like, seriously, dude, there's some shit going on. It is fucking me up. I'm pretty sure a dude is trying to kill me in my dreams. You wouldn't be like, you sound crazy, bro. You'd be like, yo, all right, James is kind of sounding crazy, but I know that he would not say some shit like this, so maybe it's real.
I think.
I'd be on board.
I think that was one of my biggest gripes. Is she's like, and I keep getting chased by this man, and he's like, oh, with the burns and the knives for fingers, and she's like, yes, we're dreaming about the same man. We're having shared dreams. He's like, no, that's crazy. We're not. And I'm like, fucking said.
You're clearly having it.
You just finished her dream for her. Like,
There was a lot of that throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But I agree. I mean, a lot of horror movies, especially, and you know, this isn't one from the 80s, obviously. This is a remake in 2010. But some of my favorite horror movies have awful dialogue. But just so many things that you could look past, and there's cool shit in it. And it's like, that's awesome. And that's how I felt about this too. I agree. There is cool shit in it that I did like. But I think
it's the best. I think it's the best boiler room he's had.
Yeah.
That's definitely a solid boiler room.
Solid boiler room.
Not the lair
the kiddie porn dungeon.
Not that one. That wasn't even a boiler room. But the actual dream sequence boiler room. You tried to trap me, Derek, and I don't appreciate
we just
it.
not
tried to trap you like Freddy Krueger did.
We're all gonna end up on a list. No, the boiler room was pretty
Derek's
sick.
like, hey, Justin, you want to come see this secret cave? And Justin was like, I sure do.
No, you wouldn't catch me dead spelunking. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. I know your tricks.
Don't call it spelunking.
I thought it was a solid boiler room.
Solid boiler room. Glove was cool. I liked his little like when he would click the nails together. Like that was a character choice.
Yeah, one of my favorite little Freddy moments, and it's not even from the original Freddy.
Yeah. Again, better than New Nightmare's glove. New Nightmare's glove, like half the shots, like the fucking blades are like wonky and shit.
Yeah,
that's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the glove in that one either.
Oh, my finger bones got blades coming out of them.
But I do like. So I know there's complaints about his makeup. I like the idea of, hey, let's actually make him look like a burn victim.
Yeah.
Whereas in all the other movies, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Really?
No, not at all.
So I get that choice. I just don't think they did it right. And the
Right,
idea
yeah.
that the fact that they still decided to do some CGI when you could just do. There's such a weird choice.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a 2010 thing. Like, let's let's
that
just
could be.
use
That
computers
definitely
here.
could be.
Yeah.
But I
Also,
saw some behind the scenes shots, and he had green paint splotched to where like the scabs were. It's just like,
Yeah.
Well,
what are
I
you
think
doing?
the reason, I think what they were, you can see it mostly in, there was one shot towards the end where he's like leaning down and the camera is like going this way. And you can see his cheekbone and it's hollow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it literally looks like a chunk of his face is missing and gone.
Yeah, they essentially
Right.
did the what they did with Two-Face in
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Dark
yeah.
Knight
which looked
and
good.
fucking-
That
which
looked
looked good. That's
Yeah,
the thing
that
is,
looks good.
what that movie came out a little further on. So
Yeah.
No, Dark Knight was 2008.
No, Dark
No,
Knight was
that was before.
2008.
Was it really?
Yeah, Dark Knight was
Yeah.
2 years before
It was
this.
2 years before.
Yeah.
So but that's the
Yeah,
thing
they
is,
had that Batman
it felt
mummy.
like they rushed
That's
some of the
different.
CGI here, or they were like, we can use CGI,
Yeah.
let's do it. They're like, well, we need to get the right
you
people,
had
the
to
right
guess.
budget.
If you
no.
had to guess the
We just
budget.
said that we could use CGI here.
But like,
If
that's
you
funny
had
is
to
in
guess.
Land,
No, we're not going to
budget.
get the right people. No, it's going out
we
tomorrow.
have to use it.
Yeah.
But that's what's
It's going out
crazy is
tomorrow.
in Land of the Dead, which I think is 2006. There's a zombie who has a whole side of her face missing, and you see
Yeah.
her teeth sticking out and everything, and that's done
Yeah.
practically.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
possible,
dope.
and it looks so sick.
I would have
Yeah.
been insulted, a makeup artist on set there, and
Yeah.
like, oh no, the scab
course.
parts. We'll just
Yeah.
we'll put that in CGI.
Yeah,
we'll
like-
do that in post.
What were you saying, Derek? You want us to
So
guess?
Why?
Yeah, how much?
Oh.
What's the budget?
the
of this
budget? If you had to
great
guess
movie?
the budget of the remake,
Fantastic remake.
I don't know, because I'm trying to remember what the budgets for like Friday in Texas were. They were kind of
I know. New Nightmare was. Oh, you're saying the remakes that came out around the same time. Yeah.
Platinum
Well, New
Dunes.
Nightmare I saw was an $8 million budget, which is pretty wild.
New Nightmare is only
Yeah,
8.
that's a 94.
Oh, yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, it's a 94.
Adjusted for
Yeah,
inflation,
yeah,
it's a $120 million movie.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
It's about double. It'd probably be like 16.
Yeah. So then what for the 2010 remake? I don't know, maybe like
I'm gonna say 10.
14 million?
Justin, what do you think?
Oh, dude, I don't even know. 15, 20? That's
35 million.
That's what I think.
What?
Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
What?
We might have to
Wow.
cut that. That's
Yeah.
incendiary, bro. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
Wow, they
what?
could've- Wow. Yeah, they could have done.
They got
a
the
lot
guy from
better.
Twilight.
Yeah.
He was 20 million. They got
Well, I mean, I'm sure some of that definitely went to Jackie Earl Haley's pay.
I don't think he
But
was
he was really the
that
only
expensive
bigger,
though.
He just
Oh,
did
I don't
one
know. He
big
just-
movie.
Yeah, he
before
had
that. After
just
that,
made a name for himself with Watchmen, and that was
With Watchmen.
it.
Yeah.
But Watchmen was only like what that came out 2008, so he was
Yeah.
still riding on.
Yeah.
that. So maybe he was just super
He
expensive.
put out a couple of dramatic things, but
Yeah. And
Yeah.
one of his first roles, I want to say, I don't know the name of it, but I remember when the whole twist of this character kind of came out when the movie dropped. Everybody was saying how they cast him because I guess in an older movie he actually played a child molester too.
Yeah.
That's right.
So this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like the
yeah.
second movie he's played, dabbled into
Eesh.
to that kind of stuff.
Not something you really want to be typecast as though, right?
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, preferably.
Well,
Yeah.
he was
Zoom.
right.
He was a child actor, wasn't he? He was acting in the 80s and shit.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because I saw something about there was a rumor that he had actually auditioned for Glenn in the first one, Johnny
Yeah.
Depp's character.
Yeah.
And he was asked about
Weird.
that, and he was like, it's actually possible, but I don't really remember. It's like, oh,
Huh.
well, that's cool.
Yeah, I saw that
But,
same thing. I'm like, how do you not remember, dude?
Yeah, I thought that was strange, but I guess if you're doing auditions every day,
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
seems like one.
Or if you don't want to
remember.
talk about it because it just
You
it still
lost
pisses
Johnny
you
Depp.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And speaking of Johnny Depp, I did see for a New Nightmare. Wes Craven really wanted to bring him back and recast him to play himself.
Oh,
and he had said something that he was too embarrassed to ask him because he was just, becoming a pretty big actor, I guess. And Johnny Depp heard about that later on and said, I would have totally done it.
Oh, man.
Damn. Yeah.
Like, say what you want about Johnny Depp, but I feel like he's at least got a good sense of like, yeah, fuck it, that sounds fun.
Well, he was in whatever fucking one number it was. I don't even remember.
The best one, Freddy's Dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Freddy does have a cameo in that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good shit.
After 3, these 4, 5, 6. I don't even remember. It just all muddles together.
Months from now, you need to just watch 6 on your own and just dig it. Man.
I think
you'll like it. You'll like it.
I so respect James's ground that he's standing on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's a good. I respect it.
Yeah, that string of 4, 5, 6, and then 7 is New Nightmare, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So 4, 5, and 6. Honestly, the only fucking thing I remember is Johnny Depp's cameo, and then the motorcycle.
Motorcycle was dope.
Yeah. Motorcycle was awesome.
But again, see, that's the thing.
Highlight of the series.
That's the thing with horror that I do love is just this is such a fucking bad movie, but that was fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
There's that in so many of these horrors.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, there's always something that you can find.
And I don't give a fuck if we're hanging out and you want to watch part 6. Like I'm immediately down to watch it. Like all of those, even though some of them I just did not enjoy that much, they're still on a level where it's like, who gives a shit? They're fun.
Now, if one of you motherfuckers brings up New Nightmare, there will be some pushback.
See, I like New Nightmare. I'd like to. I think we should rank because I think we did that.
Oh shit!
When we
Yeah,
did Friday the 13th,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So I don't have it written out or anything like that, but I think it'd be a cool thing to rank them and see where we stand.
Yeah, I was doing this in my head earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit.
Oh, that's rough. Fuck, I can't remember what's in what already.
It's always funny because I look at my letterbox and I was like, well, what are the star ratings that I gave them? It's got to be like this order, right? And then I look at them again and I was like, no, shit. I don't think I would actually put that one that high.
Right. I could start if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Hold on, dude. I'm trying to I'm putting in some serious thought. They're all the fucking same.
He just lists them in order.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I always remember hearing, you always hear the second one. It was always this like odd man out of the franchise, and I like the second one.
Oh,
I do like the second one.
So do I.
I get why it got that criticism, but I think of all the movies, it's I don't know. I get the criticism of not just because of when it came out and the context, but also just it completely was different and completely changed the rules from 1 to 2. And then we just got used to that as the franchise continued. It's just what they did, and it's what they do in a lot of these franchises. It's just kind of the name of the game, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, wait. So hold on. 1, 2, 3. Which one is 4? So 4, 5,
Dream
and
Master.
6. 4, 5, and 6. That's it. So all the dream ones.
Yeah.
So many dream
Dream Warriors, Dream Master, Dream Child.
Yeah. Dream Warriors, Dream Master. Okay. But I always thought that when you look at this one, the odd one out would be New Nightmare. Because they just it is so out of like, well, no, what Derek was saying, the odd man out of everybody's reaction to part 2. But also I think people I think especially through social media, the conversation surrounding part 2 kind of has taken on a life of its own.
It has,
it's not about the movie, it's about aspects of the movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's more about that than stopping and looking at it as a nightmare movie.
Yeah.
So I do understand why people single it out. But watching all of these, the main one that jumps out to me that's like, whoa, that's out of fucking nowhere is New Nightmare. Because it's so fucking different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think that was Wes Craven's intent. It seemed like I'm going to come in here and do something completely different. Yeah. Should we go into the Rotten Tomatoes?
Freddy versus Jason going right to the top of mind again based on star rating, apparently.
I forgot about Freddy versus Jason. So I don't even consider that.
I don't know where to put that one in this.
Like I don't even consider that part of the franchise. I know that's stupid.
But
obviously it is.
But and it's funny because I put it on and like it immediately I put it on right after I finished the remake and I was like, this is immediately Nightmare on Elm Street again. Yeah. This is the vibe that New Nightmare and the remake don't have.
Yeah.
So like I consider it more than New Nightmare at this point.
Yeah. But to restart the whole debate is like there's the first movie is just in a complete league of its own, and then the rest of the franchises might as well be in a different fucking universe for me. So it's like I have to completely shift my mindset when watching any of these movies outside of the first one. So it's kind of hard for me. It's like impossible to even compare them because they're just it's a different character. It's a different tone. It's really different fucking everything. Yeah. Because when you watch the original, it's fucked up.
Like, I don't feel that way. I haven't felt that way in a long time.
He doesn't feel like as jokey, as comic-y, as anything in the original compared to the rest.
But he's also boring. He doesn't he's fine. That's the thing.
It's a totally different character. It's a different intent.
That's the thing is like
tone.
That's why I like Freddy's Dead the most because that's the one where he's like because mine's Freddy's Dead 3, 4, 1, Freddy versus Jason 2, remake New Nightmare.
Yeah.
Where's 5?
It's in there.
That's the last. That's
the motorcycle. That's the motorcycle.
It's either New Nightmare. It's either New Nightmare or that one as the last. They're kind of tied because I like some of the stuff in Dream Child, but most of it is too fucking like what the fuck is going on? The same as New Nightmare. Those are the two where they really try to like blend the reality stuff.
I know. I do respect 4 through 6 for the effects. Like, they went all the fuck out. You know, as shitty as the stories were, or as back and forth as it was, or as kind of cheesy or whatever, the effects were fucking incredible.
Yeah, I think that's consistent really throughout the franchise. I mean, obviously the CGI in the remake is where it kind of fell off on effects, but throughout the franchise, I think the effects and the creativity of all the kills and all that shit was just really, they killed it with that.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just one of those series where our franchise where it's like Halloween. You know, you watch the first Halloween and it's in a completely different league of the entire rest of the series. And and it's for a reason. Like it wasn't supposed to be anymore after that. Yeah, so
and the same with Friday. I think we talked about this when we were doing like the Friday thing is all of these slashers were intended to be one and dones. And then the studios were like, no, we want to print money.
It's so funny that everyone that's tried really hard to come out with like this is going to be a franchise, this is going to be planned, this will be a series of movies, never fucking works.
But what's funny is like to go into it, I think they did a good job with carrying on of building on the foundation of the original Nightmare and building a whole franchise off of it. However, like they did a really good job with with the whole Friday franchise.
Did they though?
I don't know.
I would argue that that Nightmare does it way more.
For sure. But at the same time, like they created, and not that they created a new character because he is referenced in the original, but like they built a whole different world off the back of the original,
right?
But even that one just goes completely off the fucking rails and does whatever it wants.
And see, and that's why I've always leaned more towards Nightmares because every movie something different happens and like, it gets weird and shit. But you look at Jason and like, I couldn't tell you from one movie to the next, like why he's doing what he's doing, why his powers are the way they are. But for Freddy, I'm like, all right, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. And like when they establish something normally in the next movie that's used in some way, or it gets brought up back further on, and it feels more like they've built the lore as opposed to Jason, where it's just like, all right, how does he come back this time? Fuck it, who cares? He just comes back. Like, it's probably going to involve electricity.
The whole point of Jason is to just kill him.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, I think that's what makes them both different, is because, or not different, but good in their own rights. Because like Jason's just a murder machine, and like it doesn't really matter. It's the simplicity of it. Whereas Nightmare is like the kills are gonna be weird, and it's gonna be it's more artistic and more of a creative, like we could really just go all out and do whatever the fuck we want because it's dreams. And then there's Michael, who's like, I think that's why it's so hard for the Halloween movies to like get a footing, because there's no level of fantasy.
You're limited.
Which is really interesting to think about, because obviously the whole concept behind that first movie is this is evil, like incarnate. Like it is a supernatural entity, because that's the whole point of the very end frame of the film, is this guy isn't what you think he is, right? And then the rest of the franchise is no, like he's just after his sister, like. And even funnier,
he's a human. You just keep shooting him in the worst possible spots that don't injure him at all.
And also then in I forget which one it is, 7, 6, whatever. Like when they try to make him supernatural again, and everyone's like, "Fuck you!"
Yeah, the 6, right? The curse.
Fuck you, he's not
cult,
supernatural.
The cult of Thorn.
Yeah.
He gets his powers from.
Is that what gives a lot of these franchises some appeal to dorks like us? That there's just this like sleazy. Like I like the aspect of let's just make money, and they just come together and just make some like dog shit movie, and it's just I don't know. There's just a weird aspect to that.
That's a perfect thing to bring up. Bob Shea, the owner of New Line, has been in almost every one of these movies. Like he's even in fucking Freddy versus Jason. He's the principal. And I was like, what the?
Were we going to talk about Freddy versus Jason at all? I did get some more notes.
I mean, I was kind of thinking maybe we wrap up with a couple Freddy versus, because this is the end of the fucking
I'd love to hear your
nightmare.
notes. Yeah.
No, I
want to hear your notes.
I tried to read more of this book. I didn't finish it still, but I got to one of the other, because we talked about how Rob Bottin was supposed to direct Freddy versus Jason. Right. And he was like, I have my own idea for a story. And they were like, oh, okay. You've never written a movie before. You've never directed a movie before. But sure, we can say we've got the special effects guy from The Thing to direct it, and that's worth it all. Apparently, so this was forgive my page turning in the microphone here.
How dare you be literate?
Yeah. Robert Englund was learning about Freddy versus Jason's progress when fans were. Like, he had no idea what was actually happening with this movie.
Wow.
He would get updates online and from other people. And apparently he was sitting next to a guy on a plane who said, oh yeah, I'm the story editor from King of the Hill. And Robert Englund was like, oh, I love that show. And they talked about that for a while. And he's like, yeah, we might work together later. I just co-wrote Freddy versus Jason. And Robert Englund was like, oh shit, really? Like, had no idea that they were working on another script for it. But that was Glenn Berger, who worked with Jonathan Abel. And apparently Rob Bottin brought them in because he also loved King of the Hill. And neither of them had ever written a horror film or even a film. So the hotly anticipated crossover of the two biggest modern horror franchises was going to be helmed by a first-time director from a script written by first-time screenwriters. And they said, yeah, the weird thing was we'd never worked in film before. We were TV writers, but we had done King of the Hill for years, and Rob was a fan of the show. We had never written a film script or even done a spec, but he plucked us out of obscurity, and it became our first gig. And then apparently Mark Haslett, VP of Development for Cunningham Productions, said their draft was dead at our doorstep. There was nothing we liked about it. It never even made it to production. But it was essentially Rob's basic idea of these kids go to Crystal Lake and do this drug that lets you share dreams and start hallucinating. But Freddy and Jason are both movie characters in this film. So the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise and the Friday the 13th franchise both exist as movie franchises. And
okay, so it's My Bloody Valentine remake. Gotcha.
And it opens with this guy, what's his name? Dominic Necros, who's a diehard Freddy fan that goes crazy and tries to
totally normal name.
Kill people. Yeah. Tries to kill people dressed as Freddy. Apparently the opening sequence is what you think is a Freddy kill, but it's actually Dominic dressed like Freddy with like some weird propane tank to do effects.
Dominic Necros?
Yes. Dominic Necros.
There's no way this kid's a suspect.
Yeah. So wild.
What's his name?
Dominic Necros. What is he, Greek?
I think he's
parents named him definitely with the intention of him growing up to be a carpenter or something, not a fucking serial killer.
Yeah.
Several moments in the draft distinctly recall Kane Hodder's performance because people assumed Hodder coming back was a sure thing. One such scene occurs at Crystal Lake when a confused Jason decapitates Todd, who was dressed as Freddy trying to prank his friends, and catches Freddy's head mid-fall, notices something isn't quite right about it, and then Todd's bloody head falls out from the rubber Freddy mask he was wearing. Furious, Jason rips the mask in half and punts Todd's head into the woods.
That's honestly pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So this had some fun moments in it, but they said the entire movie does not make any fucking sense because they're like, how are they at Crystal Lake if Crystal Lake is a movie scene? How is Jason at the bottom of Crystal Lake if Jason is a movie character? Like, how does Freddy come out?
Right. Hold on. Micronaps.
Micronaps, right. Well, that was one thing is they said...
now everything works.
Well, this is another one where they said Freddy touched Jason when he worked at Crystal Lake and then got fired for touching Jason, so he drowned Jason before he left as
wow. Good lord.
Yeah.
That got dark real quick.
It did, yeah.
That's way worse than not way worse.
That's slightly worse than the remake.
That's right about there.
Yeah.
They said there was one thing that made zero sense. They don't really go into it, but they're like, there was a weird piece of it that made absolutely no sense. And the original draft they had, it was all in a dream anyway. And that's why none of it makes sense. And that was their cop out. And in this one, they didn't lean on that. So it just didn't make sense. And that's
okay.
Completely
Even
pointless.
Better.
But yeah, you get to see teenage Freddy before he...
I don't think anybody needs to see teenage
But
Freddy.
yeah, apparently he was playfully chasing the children at Crystal Lake, delighting in a game. And as he was chasing them, he would sing 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. And they said that he was...
I don't hate that. Yeah, that works.
They said that he was... that young Freddy was dressed in a brand new green and red striped sweater, which seems inappropriate for summer camp, but to each their own.
Yeah, he'd be way too hot.
It was a green and red striped fishnet.
Yeah. But they made Jason talk.
Airy.
So at the end...
They made Jason talk?
Yeah, they get it down to where it's just the final girl and then Freddy and Jason. She doses Jason with the dream drug, so they go into the dream realm. She doses herself so they can share the dream, and then realizes that in my nightmare, I have powers, and so I can make Freddy feel pain, and in my nightmare, Jason wins, and Freddy starts to bleed and starts to panic, and Jason bursts out of this bubble that Freddy had tried to drown him in, lets out a furious roar, and the room begins to shake as every fiber, vein, and muscle in his body explodes horrifically, and Jason transforms into a hulking, seething, mutated abomination, the embodiment of Lizzie's pure and utter rage. The fight transitions to reality, with Jason now having the upper hand. More deadly than ever before. He hits a tree with his machete and the tree just fucking explodes.
Of course.
Freddy digs his claws into Jason's chest to try to rip out his heart, but with a final burst of power, Jason skewers Freddy on his machete and says, "Freddy's dead." And then lightning strikes the dock where they are lay dying, splintering it into pieces, destroying the remains of both. Credits.
Whenever you said Jason talks, I was really hoping that like she puts him into the dream, she puts herself into the dream, and then she's just like, all right, Jason, now we're gonna have like a nice little therapy session. So tell me about your mother.
Right.
All of this, a lot of these scripts were like, let's give Jason dialogue. And everyone, I'm just wondering how many times somebody came to them with that and they're like, don't fucking do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Like that him saying Freddy's dead is up there with Zombie making Mike and the director's cut of Halloween 2 being like, die. Yeah. That is just I like that movie. I don't hate that movie.
Yeah, but that part is
I like
very
that
bad.
ending. I just don't like him saying anything.
That's a dumb choice. That's a dumb choice. Hopefully he never watches this so that way we can still do some of his shirts. Shirts for some of his movies.
I'm pretty sure he's a major fan.
Oh yeah, no, he subscribes. He gets the notifications.
Yeah, totally.
Clearly.
Yeah. But god damn, what a dumb choice. God,
The best.
I'll never get over that.
The best part of this whole story, though, is apparently. So this was in 1998. They had already like commissioned McFarlane Toys to make action figures for this Freddy versus Jason, including one that was supposed to showcase miniature Freddy as seen in the movie that hadn't even been finished written yet. And it was too late. So last minute, they just changed the packaging. So there's like McFarlane Toys out there of Freddy with a weird miniature Freddy. And everyone's like, is that supposed to be like the one from Dream Warriors? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's the little puppet that kills the guy. Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. So those toys exist that were intended for Freddy versus Jason. And then they said the most telling part is that Rob Bottin eventually just disappeared. Quite literally. Something was happening with one of his parents whom he loved, and one day he just quit, but he didn't tell anyone. We all thought he was still on board the project for a long time, but he wouldn't return our calls. I've reached out to him over the years since, and I've still never heard back. Just gone from the project. So Rob Bottin just woke up one day and was like, I think I'm done.
No, that's Greg.
Oh, Greg Nicotero.
Yeah, that was Nicotero.
Yeah.
I don't know what Bottin did.
Yeah,
after
but
this.
I think Bottin did just disappear, didn't he? Like completely.
No.
Is he still doing
He still does stuff.
Yeah, he's still working. He's just not talking to New Line, apparently.
He's just really good at an Irish goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got to find those action figures now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah, he worked on Game of Thrones, Mr. Deeds, Charlie's Angels, Fight Club.
Mr. Deeds.
Yeah, all kinds of shit. Yeah.
Nice.
7. Yeah. What is we can't forget about the rest of your guys' rankings.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
I think I had mine.
Let's do it.
I really do. I need to finish. I need to get that book and read it. I can't believe that there's that much. It's insane that there was that much going on for that long for one fucking movie.
Yeah.
That it could fit that much in a book.
And like
It's wild.
what they came up with, I'm not shitting on it. It's not the worst thing I've ever fucking seen at this point. Like Freddy versus Jason is pretty good, but it's insane to me that it took that fucking long to finally just go this.
Yeah.
Like it's not a difficult, like it's so obvious. That it being so obvious is why I didn't like Freddy versus Jason for so long, because I was like, well, yeah, but like, can't we get something special? Now I'm like, man, maybe I'm glad we didn't get anything special. Wow.
Oh, we dodged like 19 bullets. Jesus.
Yeah.
I think that's the craziest thing is how much they overthought every single script. Where they're like, what if we made Jason like on trial for his crimes and we take his mask off, you know, the one thing everyone knows him for and loves, and we give him dialogue, and we completely retcon the entire franchise leading up to this, you know, the reason people want to see this fucking movie in the first place. Let's just tell them none of that actually happened. Like, as I feel like anyone at the studio should have been like, immediately, no, don't even bother writing this script. If this is the idea that you have, no, we don't, we're good.
Yeah. So I think it's a common thing for these franchises when you're doing your whatever, right? Your 8th movie, you're going to have 30 different scripts that are submitted to you within the studio, different script, right. And I was reading for the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. There was 15 scripts that they were deciding between, and they ended up pretty much combining 4 of them.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
That was the process of putting this movie together. So yeah, I could imagine, especially these types of franchises, the wild scripts that we have no idea about that would be hilarious to read about in a book like that. That would be just interesting to see. Just get to some of those details.
Yeah, I want the Leprechaun version. See which of those scripts never got produced.
If it was possible for us
the
to
ones
just,
they did get produced, fucking ridiculous.
I'd love to be able to just get like thrown out scripts and just have a podcast where we just read them and react to them.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Be good stuff. But yeah, I think the book is fascinating because it's not just what scripts didn't work and what ridiculism was happening there, but it's just how like they went about it so many different wrong ways where they're like, let's get a director first. And it's like, that's not really how this needs to work. But it's like, no, we need to get a name attached. We need to announce an opening. Like we need to announce the release date. And it's like, you don't even have a fucking script yet, but you're so determined to like get hype that you've just like completely shit the bed so many times. It's like if they had just approached this like you actually make a movie, which they should have known by now. They're a pretty successful studio that had already made like 8 of them.
I'd love to know how much money was spent trying, not even the actual making of the real Freddy versus Jason that exists.
Yeah.
How much money was spent on them trying to like go, because all those people got paid.
Oh yeah.
Everybody that we've talked about absolutely got a paycheck from New Line. So it's like how much money was spent trying to figure out how to overdo this idea.
Yeah. You're like the budget for the movie was $25 million. The budget getting to the movie was another $140 million or something, like in just wasted scripts. Yeah.
And also the it's always so fascinating to me, like, what do you people like some of the ideas, like where, like what's the psychology as to how you came to that idea and thought that was the golden goose?
Yeah.
Like you thought that shit was going to work.
Yeah.
It's just
baffling.
We all watch the same fucking movies and yet.
Yeah. Well, it's from the sounds of it, it's getting people who are not familiar with any of it.
Yeah, that was a lot of it.
And that just makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
That's not.
I really love the show King of the Hill. Let's get the story editor from King of the Hill to come in and and write it.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob.
Freddy.
Sure. Yeah. My ranking.
Makes perfect sense.
My quick and dirty ranking that I just threw together. I think, I feel okay about this. It's going to change. My ranking for all these franchises changes depending on my mood. I do still have the remake at the bottom. Sorry, Justin. But then I have Freddy's Dead just above that. Sorry, James. And then it's
bringing it back.
5, Dream Child. 4, Dream Master. New Nightmare. 2, Freddy vs. Jason. 3, Dream Warriors. And then the original at the top. I still love the first one, I think, more than anything.
Yeah.
I think mine is very similar to yours. I think I might just switch 2 and New Nightmare from yours.
You like New Nightmare more than 2?
Wow, sounds like a bunch of fucking heretics.
Damn.
It's okay.
I am surprised because
it's fine. A
lot of people I know
Freddy's
think
gonna
New
suck
Nightmare...
you into a TV video game and kill you.
No, a lot of people I know think New Nightmare is the best one in the franchise, and they're like, "Oh,
it's a well-received."
Well, they're objectively
it is
wrong.
a fan favorite. And so rewatching it yesterday, I was like, "No, this is a good movie. Like it's a well put together movie that I'm enjoying. It is not the best Freddy movie though. Like I respect what Wes Craven was trying to do. Because he's been wanting to do this since this was his idea for Dream Warriors. Like that was the sequel he wanted to do, and they were like, "No, that's fucking weird. Don't do that." And then he finally had the reputation to be like, "Now I'm going to make this movie," and they're like, "All right." And this is what caused Freddy vs. Jason to get delayed even more. Is they were ready to do Freddy vs. Jason in '94 or in like '93, And Wes was like, no, I'm doing New Nightmare first. And they're like, okay, shit, I guess we'll do Jason Goes to Hell. Like, we got to do something.
and weirdly, I think it was probably the best thing for Freddy versus Jason, because whatever they would have put out back then would not have been as good as this, apparently.
No,
very true.
Yeah.
So what's yours, Derek?
It's very similar to what Josh has said. Yeah, he went from bottom top. I'll go top. So first one for me is my favorite, and then I'll go Dream Warriors as my second favorite, and then I'll go. I think I go New Nightmare, and then I go part 2.
Wow, New Nightmare. High.
And then I'll go part 2, and then I'll go part 4, and then I'll go Dream Child, and then Freddy's Dead, and then Remake. And I don't know where I put Freddy vs. Jason in there, actually.
Remake's at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just not one I revisit unless I'm obligated to for a podcast.
Okay, guys. Okay. Let's tone it down a little bit. All right.
We're Justin. I feel like maybe we can team up and.
I admitted that I liked it more on this viewing than I can't even speak now. I liked it more on this viewing than I had on previous viewings.
Yeah, you're getting there.
I'm not going to keep watching it with the hope that eventually I love it, though. So take this and enjoy it.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah.
You ever seen Clockwork Orange? I mean,
yeah. Derek is. I can already tell. Like, he's sworn that movie off. He'll probably never watch it again.
Yeah, unless we do an episode on it again in like 5 years.
We're gonna have to switch the prank thing from Anaconda to fucking the Freddy. The night. Fuck, I can't speak either. The Nightmare remake. God damn.
Nightmare Friday Anaconda remake.
Dude, I'd watch that. I'd watch the
fuck out of that. Yeah.
I know that
Freddy versus Jason versus Anaconda.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
Okay,
Anaconda's winning all day.
You get to see what an anaconda's nightmares are.
Yeah,
just a sea of Owen Wilson.
He's got legs. Yeah. I got legs.
A bunch of John Voights.
Yeah, just and Owen Wilson.
They're all just looking at him like, "Hey, little burst."
Wow.
A little anaconda.
Thanks. Mine is the original. And before I even get through the rest of it, I didn't even put Freddy versus Jason in this because I like what you said, Derek. It's separate. Because if I were to have to do that, I think that would just end up being my favorite. But I don't know. It's just so different that I just don't even include it. But original Dream Warriors. Freddy's Revenge, so part 2, remake, 4 through 6, and then New Nightmare. 4 through 6 is on the same fucking line. They're all the same movie, and then New Nightmare.
Well, that's nice because then 6 can just get just a little higher on that.
Yeah, it's a little higher. It's a little higher.
James Justin technically said 6 is his 4th favorite.
So I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm fine as long as it's higher than New Nightmare. I'm good.
Yeah. Tied for 4th. Man. I will take it.
Yeah. They're all this. They're at least it definitely gives credit for being creative. Which, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about New Nightmare because it is a completely. I mean, they just completely threw a curveball into the whole thing. So, I mean, at least he was trying to be creative. But I don't know.
It's funny because I think most of the
90s.
other franchises suffer from not being able to be creative enough. Usually because they're trapped within the shit that they've set up. But this one, I think, suffers from the exact opposite, where the creativity really shines through. But man, that'll fuck up a movie real quick.
Yeah.
Like it'll get real fucking confusing.
Yeah, because like what you guys have said throughout this whole series is the creativity surrounding all of the aspects of Freddy, his kills, what he does, how he does it, never wavered.
Never.
In any of these movies, it never
even in New
slowed
Nightmare,
down.
like once it starts going, like it's there.
It's there. Yeah. It feels, there's a through line through all of these movies that stay very true no matter what nonsense is happening with the actual making of the movie.
Yeah.
So I guess it gets credit for that.
It's true. That's good. We'll give it credit for that.
Do you mean
And then on a happy note.
Dominic Necros of the Wyoming Necroses?
I don't know what that means.
Oh. Should we go the Rotten Tomatoes here?
Oh yeah, we got to do that part.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So we got New Nightmare, 79% tomato meter. 66% audience score.
What?
And then
That's
the remake,
wild.
Remake, you got 14% tomato meter.
God damn.
And then a 43% audience score. That's a pretty big disparity there.
Here's what's crazy is Platinum Dunes said that movie was received so fucking bad and they got so much hate that no one would make another movie with him for more than 2 years.
Wow.
It wasn't until The Purge came along that they finally got partners to make a new movie.
Why is The Purge Platinum Dunes?
That were...
Yeah, I guess so.
I remember The Purge was Blumhouse. That's weird.
Yeah, that was
maybe they partnered.
And now Blumhouse is the king of shitty reboots.
Because I don't think that I don't think Platinum Dunes has. I don't think they're even around anymore.
Wow, I did see a quote from Rooney Mara, girl that played Nancy.
That's Joaquin Phoenix's wife.
That's right.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. She wanted to quit acting after the remake.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Meanwhile.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Her quote, "I didn't want to act anymore. This isn't what I signed up for. If this is what my opportunities are going to be like, then I'm not interested in acting. I was very discouraged and disheartened."
Meanwhile, she then went on to make a movie where she played Mary Magdalene and Joaquin Phoenix played Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Come the fuck on. Come on.
It's also like, what is that? I wonder what that's based, what she's basing.
I don't,
Because like,
well,
how do you give is it the content? Because maybe the content
it might be the content.
But you read the script.
Yeah. Unless if they decided to change things, which from
I
the
bet there was
sounds
a
of it,
lot of
maybe,
rewrites on that set.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
It might have been, given the fact that they did seem like they had a lot of gags set up that Freddy was going to do. Maybe the original tone was going to be dramatically different.
Maybe it was the reception. Maybe it was got really bad reception. She's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
And also,
which sucks because
at that time, 2010, I'm sure that the internet was real fucking cool with a chick actress that just fucked up their favorite franchise.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're very
which sucks because I thought she did great.
Never
no, she was.
Yeah, I thought she was totally.
She was good in this. I like Kyle Gallner in this too, and he's talked about it on Twitter before. Like, obviously, he's having a hell of a career now, but yeah,
with what?
Well, he was in Jennifer's Body, and he was in.
That guy.
Fucking. There's one that's like a cult hit, Dinner in America.
He's in Red State too.
And then he did The Passenger with Johnny Berchtold. That one's, if you guys haven't seen that one yet, that one's fucking good.
No. Okay, so
I need to rewatch Red State.
I haven't seen that one in a minute.
Honestly, it's my favorite Kevin Smith movie.
Over Tusk?
That's bold. Over Mallrats?
Over Mallrats.
Clerks?
I love Mallrats. I love Clerks. Those are like foundational movies. But I think that Red State, because it's such a fucking like swing from him. It's
a complete Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah. And like the ones after that, like Tusk, it's fine. I'm not that big of a Tusk. And I haven't watched Yoga Hosers yet.
Hosers, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
But Red State, there's just, I think it's because it was his passion project. And he was like, I know what this movie is. He went into it knowing what it was, and it wasn't like okay, I have to make another movie now. It's like, I'm going to make this fucking movie because this is the movie that I want to make. And it's the whole vision's there.
Yeah.
And I like, there's an interview, not an interview. I think it's one of his stand-up things where he's like talking about going into it. And like, there's a part where he explains like why the ending of it is the way that it is. And it's kind of like not what you really want because you couldn't do what you really want. So then you got to do the opposite. I don't know. It's just, he really put a lot of thought into it and it really shows.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Gotcha.
Fair.
Also, it's very poignant at the moment.
Yes, 100%. The Purge is Platinum Dunes. They did it with Blumhouse. I did not know that.
Yeah, and I'm looking at their filmography. They did the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, and they did all
the live action Ninja Turtles movies.
Yeah. A handful of the Purge movies and A Quiet Place.
Yeah, the Quiet Place movies.
Oh, wow.
And then Songbird, I remember being...
the fuck is
people
that?
fucking hated that.
What a violent reaction.
It's a dystopian sci-fi thriller film
what the fuck?
based on the COVID-19 pandemic. It came out in
really?
2020. Yeah, so the plot is that by 2024, COVID-19 has mutated into COVID-23 and the world is in its fourth year of quarantine. The government is converted into a fascist police state and people are required to take temperature checks on their phones while those infected are taken from their homes against their will and forced into camps known as Q zones. And when they were making it, everyone was like, what fucking nonsense is this?
We gotta watch it. Dude.
Oh, no.
That sounds awesome.
I don't want to give it clicks.
Dude, there's also so many people in this movie.
Really?
Peter Stormare.
Yeah, Bradley Whitford, Craig Robinson, Alexandra Daddario, Paul Walter Hauser.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Craig Robinson.
That's great.
And it stars KJ Apa, who's the guy from fucking Riverdale.
Okay.
Yeah, that is nope. Big nope.
I'm excited. We should
drawing the line.
We should watch that in Civil War.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
That's funny.
Oh man. All right. Well, that's it. This piece of shit. I'm just kidding. That was fun.
Man.
Let's shit out this piece of shit.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It.
Yeah,
it was a fun trek.
I'm stoked that you all are in agreement with me that Freddy's Dead is the best movie ever made.
It's definitely the best Freddy movie I watched last week.
That's for damn sure. Can't argue with that.